going to see it soon out there. You can see it, Brian. It's huge.
I can see it.
Thanks for joining us. The weather dominating headlines tonight. Multiple confirmed tornadoes and widespread damage. This video from a storm chaser near Toma. Right now, the state's Emergency Operations Center has elevated to level 3 in response to the storms. Looking back at the radar loop, this really was an impressive system.
And not just tornadoes. In addition, there were straight line winds, some hail, excessive rain, all of it playing a big role. And we spoke with the state emergency management about 20 minutes ago.
What we're working to do right now is to assess current conditions as they are on the ground and determine what resources may be needed from the state in order to help assist with those local responses.
Now, some of the worst damage we're seeing in Monroe County. This is video from Mauston. Our crew there says there are trees down, damage to multiple buildings, and power outages. And we'll have a live report from there in just a few minutes.
It has been a busy and active afternoon, not just in the weather office, but for folks throughout southern Wisconsin. Several severe thunderstorm warning and tornado warnings triggered from this line. This is a loop over the last 3 hours, and you can just see how quickly that line was moving east, just ripping across southern Wisconsin. Right now, we're seeing the heaviest rainfall still in parts of Jefferson County and stretching towards the Milwaukee area. In fact, Jefferson County, the southern edge of Dodge County, and the southeast corner of Dane County under a flash flood warning until 11:45 tonight. This because as those storms moved further east, they started to slow down and started to trail each other. So we saw accumulation totals climb up just in the last hour or so, quite a bit in Jefferson County. Totals over 3 inches right now. Some areas reporting up to 3¼ inches. Now, closer to Lone Rock, we did see some rainfall totals in the 2 to 2.5 inch range, but most of the area closer to 1 inch of accumulation. The focus today was certainly on the high winds that came through and the confirmed tornadoes on the ground. Our storm reports can sometimes take a little bit of time to get into the system. Right now, you can see that line really stretching across Juneau and Adams counties and into Marquette County. That was a confirmed tornado on the ground that we were watching earlier move through. Near Mauston, reports of damage. Near Partyville, reports of damage, and also reports of large hail for that area. High temperatures today were in the mid to low 90s. That's part of the reason these storms really strengthened as they moved in. The atmosphere was warm, it was unstable, and it was full of a lot of moisture. Temperatures now backing off quite a bit. We're in the mid to low 70s for Dane County and Rock County, about 68 right now in Mineral Point. Dew points have also pulled back. It does feel quite a bit less muggy outside right now. My good news for tomorrow, it's going to be a lot more quiet outside for Thursday. Plan on high temperatures in the mid 80s, still a bit above average, still warm, but mostly sunny, breezy, and it does look like we'll stay sunny through Father's Day weekend, but we'll take a closer look at what's ahead through your 10-day in just a few minutes.
In Merrimack, DOT camera footage showing the moment that storm rolled into the area. The rain was so intense you could barely see the ground, and when that initial blast of rain moves out, you can see the debris from nearby trees scattered around the road. And as we mentioned, some of the worst damage reported has been in Mauston.
Tahlil Mohadeen has been there since early this evening. She joins us now live. Tahlil?
That's right, Eric and Charlotte. All evening throughout the city, we've seen down power lines, trees blocking roadways, and fallen street signs. Now, some of the more extensive damage has been here at this restaurant behind me, more specifically to the roof. The owners of Roman Castle Italian Grill say they were at home on their break when the tornado warning came, but that their employees were inside the restaurant as strong winds blew through the roof. Owners say they called the staff immediately to make sure they were okay, telling them to seek shelter in the break room until it was safe, staying on the phone the whole time.
They all remained calm, and they were all together in the room. But I'm sure everybody's nerves were there. We've had some bad weather before, but we haven't experienced damage like this from a tornado.
Elsewhere in Mauston, several homes were also damaged by fallen trees. Street crews and utility workers have already been working to clean up what the storm left behind, but officials expect it'll take a while. Now, this restaurant has been in Mauston for over 26 years, and owners say on the heels of COVID shutdowns and even a fire at the Italian Grill in 2013, it's going to be tough to cope, but they say they'll make it through. Reporting live in Boston, Tahlil Muhaddin, News 3 Now.
Tahlil, thank you. One of those tornadoes was confirmed by the National Weather Service near Toma. The video we're getting in shows several power poles on their sides, traffic being rerouted due to multiple overturned semis on the interstate. And just outside Toma, viewer video from rural Wyville. You can see the debris scattered around yards, downed trees, and damaged power lines. During our live coverage this afternoon, we spoke with the village president of nearby Oakdale, who says he saw the tornado.
Yes, I was on my way to make sure the storm shelter was opened and looked off to the west, and it was right there, just going down through, and it just really looked rain wrapped and just heavy rain.
And all day, we've been receiving dozens of viewer photos. If you have any photos of storm damage that you would like to share with us, the easiest way to do so is to email them at tips@channel3000.com. For the most part, the city of Madison was spared, especially important with so many still without power from Monday's storm. Taking a live look at the current Madison gas and electric power outages, according to the site, 774 customers are currently without electricity. That's more than 48 hours since it first went out.
And the struggle to restore power in Madison hasn't been for a lack of effort. Madison Gas and Electric told us today crews are working 16-hour shifts, and that's on top of help from other utilities called in. Will Keneally reports.
We appreciate their patience.
MG&E usually provides customers an update on when they can expect power to return. Today it became clear, though, even an estimate was a moving target.
And we don't want to put something out there and have people expecting that, okay, it's going to be taken care of by this time, and then it's not, and, you know, well, what happened? What's going on?
Spokesperson Steve Schultz says Monday's severe storm was unique, not something that they've seen in decades. And the damage from the storm has greatly slowed down MG&E's efforts.
With the trees that have come down and the need to get tree trimming crews there before we can even really get at and assess the damage to understand what we're working with.
Crews have been working 16-hour shifts in 80 and 90-degree heat, struggling to get to each of the more than 300 outages that initially knocked out power to more than 20,000 customers.
They're holding up. They're staying hydrated. We're feeding them. You know, all that stuff that we can do to help. But yeah, they are doing tremendous work right now.
The MG&E crews are prioritizing the remaining 1,000 customers without power, starting with the outages that affect the most people. But there are no critical customers without power, like hospitals or other infrastructure. All that's while keeping an eye on more storms predicted tonight.
If there are storms that come through again later this afternoon, this evening, that's going to slow the restoration work that we're still working on. And you know, it could lead to more outages depending on the severity of the weather.
Again, Will Keneally reporting, and in just the last 15 minutes, MG&E says it has just started listing some estimated restoration times for outages that impact more than one customer. So those single outages likely won't have power restored until midnight on Friday.
You can only sit inside a hot, humid, and dark home for so long. Some still without power are gathering together, proving misery loves company. Catherine Merck spoke with a few of them.
2 days without power has some people at their boiling point.
I got up that first morning and can't make coffee.
Gary Humphrey and his wife live near Shorewood Hills. When we met them this morning, they still didn't have power nearly 48 hours after Monday's storms.
It's tough. Of course, you know, you really miss everything.
The Humphreys certainly aren't alone.
This block that we're on is, you know, a good 100 years old, and I don't know of any businesses that have backup generators.
Crescendo Espresso Bar has seen customers come by for more than a beverage. They're simply seeking internet access.
I live down the street over there in sort of my home office. We've got a tree that sort of was on our neighbor's property and fell down across our garage and hit my office yesterday. So took down some internet lines, which is why I'm here.
But the business itself faced some of the same problems as their customers. Employees had to get rid of food and liquids they couldn't keep cold.
Having to throw away product is not fun. It's just literally money down the drain.
Pretty inconvenient, and it's a little bit of a wake-up, sort of how much our infrastructure can just go down when things go wrong.
It's a wake-up call for businesses and customers alike. But one Gary Humphrey hopes not to revisit tomorrow morning.
You don't realize how dependent you are on the electricity until you don't have it. And then you realize, boy, it's everything we do.
That was Catherine Merck reporting. Humphrey told us he's lived in his neighborhood for 30 years.
Said they've never lost power for so long like this before. The Espresso Bar says they are prepared for more outages if they happen again. Forward Madison soccer fans have to wait an extra day for their friendly with the German club SC Paderborn, which was scheduled for tonight. Weather delayed it until tomorrow night at the same time, 7 o'clock, and tickets for tonight will be honored tomorrow.
Madison street crews have been answering calls nonstop this week. So far, they've collected almost 120 tons of brush, and that number is expected to increase. Still a lot of pickup to be done. Crews are planning to prioritize trees that block any roadways and are working as quickly as they can to get things back to normal.
We have crews staying late today picking up brush. We got plenty more sitting out there as well. So it's going to be a few days because there's a lot to get, but we'll get it. Just, a little bit of patience. We'll get there.
Staff is being diverted, staff from other duties to handle brush collection. Once collected, they'll make free mulch people can pick up. So far, they've taken more than 400 individual tree calls.
So, and anyone living in Monona, they too are offering storm debris pickup. The city asking anyone with fallen brush to just pile it up at the curb. Crews will pass through each street multiple times daily through July 1st. And as always, for all of our storm coverage, the latest forecast, check out channel3000.com or download our Channel 3000 weather app.